Who's been causing all this BS? So, One Punch Man 111. Oh my god, this is the One Punch chapter! 111. It doesn't matter, does it? More Baddies was a good chapter. I call it that one because I saw another name for it and I was like, I can't call it that. Yes, good chapter. I actually think the more I thought about it, the more I like it because it introduced me to a couple of good characters and it made me realise how good a character actually is. And by a couple, I mean one for each of those. Why did I say a couple? So, chapter starts off with Child Emperor leaving. It's like, oh, the cover. Yes, the cover. We have an animated cover. Murata, why are you so good? Why was it animated? Why, like, just when I couldn't think you top, like, bang, and the suit's going to be pretty tough on the top, and then he does that. And I'm excited because I think at some point he'll probably just animate a chapter. Like, whenever Saitama and Goro have their actual fight when Goro's monsterfied and they end up, like, going for it, he might be like, here's a little trick, it's all animated, and I've been doing it for years, and I'll be like, oh dear. I don't think that, so, well, I'd love it, don't get me wrong, if Murata animated a fight, but let's leave it now. If he's just toying with the stuff, that's fine by me. So, chapter starts off with Child Emperor getting Wagoma out of there, and that's really good. And I'm happy because that part of the story is over now. Like, the mission has been successful and they've got out there and everyone's pretty impressed with Child Emperor. But Child Emperor, of course, he's tired, he's been through this. And like, this whole first segment of the chapter, it made me love Child Emperor. I love Child Emperor because I'll just start talking about the chapter. I'll talk about it and I'll explain why as it goes on. So, he reports to everyone it's a success, he's worried that no one hears him at first, and then everyone comes through, and he's been through a lot, and I was like, wow, like, you must have done really well down there, and he's like, no, I am at my wit's end here, like, I'm done, like, you know, they were some real monsters down there, obviously because of his fight with Phoenix Man, and as it goes on, like, he eventually gets reception from the other S-Class heroes. And you know what? One thing we know about Child Emperor is he just wants to be, I guess, appreciated and respected despite being a child. And we really got this sense, and this is one of my favourite bits of the whole chapter, is this moment where, like, Zombie Man tunes is like, good work, Child Emperor. I like glad to hear the mission was successful. We'll meet up when we can. And even my match tuned in was like, okay, loud and clear. I'm gonna take care of some of these monsters. Still, Pig God tunes in. He's like, good job, Child Emperor. I'm glad to hear the mission was a success. I'm just in the middle of eating, and then like you see in Child Emperor's face, he is relieved because not only is the mission done, but he thinks it's getting to the end. It's all going quite smoothly. He thinks he's had the roughest part, and people are like genuinely grateful for the work he's done. These other S-Class heroes, these people who are the same rank as him, appreciate the work he's put in, and he's got out there, saved the kid, they appreciate it. And then it's all ruined when Atomic Samurai comes in, and this isn't intentional by Atomic Samurai, of course, because he tunes in and is immediately like, you know, like, oh guys, this is it. Like, you know, he tells them that there's another kid down here, he's in the middle of fighting a monster, I'll report when I can. And this is like the real, like, start of the second act of the Monster Association. Like, if we look at it like this, so I imagine it's probably going to go something like, because they're going to build Goro more, so the first act is over now with the Monster Association. So Orochi's gone, yeah? So now the next act is going to be the executives, and the final act, I'm imagining, will be Goro. But you see the look in Child Emperor's face. Like, he's like, what? Like, this is brand new news. He had no idea about this. Like, anything, like, it's all completely new. And he shows up, and after Atomic says this news, he goes, like, that change in his face. He is annoyed. He is angry, you know? You just, Wagoma. And then, like, he goes, you said there were no more children down there. And then you see in Wagoma's face, he knows how guilty he is. And this is what's so good about Wagoma, too, is I hate him. That's what's so good, like, that he's supposed to be a dislikable character. And I guess something that's really good about One Punch Man is they can make you like almost any character if they want to, because there's something redeeming about all of them, where it's their personality, their design, their abilities, like even the ridiculous ones to the really cool ones, because I love monsters like Demon Showerhead, but I also love monsters like Orochi. Same with characters, so you've got ones like a Narcissus Stoic, but then of course you've got ones like Flashy Flash and Bang, and of course now Child Emperor, which I'll explain as to why I love him so much soon. Look at all these, oh, you're so good at teasing. You're a little flirty little tease, aren't you, Matt? Wait, I gotta do this. Hey Grim, if you see this. Yeah, there you go. Oh boy. What I mean is by that, like, you can find likeable things in all of these characters. But Wagoma, he doesn't have a likeable design. He doesn't have a likeable personality. He's a frail little kid, and he is just like abusing it. He doesn't care about anyone really, apart from himself in this situation. He's not thinking about the bigger picture. So, he goes, because when he starts apologizing, I'm sorry, I just wanted to get out there and be safe. If it was like a different situation, how he posed it, I would have believed into a certain success. However, two things have happened. When he told Child Emperor that he was the only one, he had a smirk. He knew right then and there, of course, like that he remembered about Tario, but he was like, I'm not telling about Tario, I want to get out of here. Secondly, when he looks at him, he's got that one eye open. Like, if his eyes were shut and he was proper crying, then I'd believe it, but no, he's got that one eye open, and Wagomba's such a scumbag, and I think this is going to be good, because for after the Monster Association, because whatever happens to Wagomba, I think it's going to affect the future of the story too, because either Wagomba's going to get away with it, and it's going to be like this message of like, you know, like, I guess real power is in like money and stuff, because like, you know, he's, you know, this little kid's caused all this chaos, and just because he didn't want to listen to people, you know, and it's, I guess there's some kind of message there you could talk about with like hierarchy and power and money, and like I guess something there. Or at the very least, if something happens to Wagomba, say like someone like smacks him, because I really thought Child Emperor was just going to go like to him, he could go complain to Daddy, and Narinki could drop out the Hero Association, which means there's going to be less protection against the monsters, even though they went to go save him in the first place, so there's like no kind of proper respect for him, and then that could even open some stuff in the organisation. Any case, Child Emperor just very silently is like, I have to go back. I'm going in, and I'm going to rescue this person. So the next thing Child Emperor does is he doesn't even like do anything to Wagomba, he just goes back. He grabs his bag, he's like, right, I'm going back in, I've got to go find this kid, and when I say Child Emperor is one of my favourite characters, it's now because of this. And I loved him, I loved him before because he had such great, like, he had a different fighting style, like, the technology was very interesting with how he fought. Brave Giant was incredibly impressive, it was nothing but stunning. But this, because there are two sides I've realised to why I like characters a lot. If I can admire them and I can relate to them, the admiration and the relation, I guess. Yes. So with Child Emperor, I can admire like, you know, his strength, like, you know, his strength because he's very smart and like he had loads of cool gadgets, and obviously, like I said, Brave Giant was incredible, super interesting stuff. I can admire that kind of stuff. But then the relation side kicked in this kind of chapter, because this kind of issue is something I was immediately like, I get it. I get what he's feeling immediately, because this is the feeling of someone, and it's definitely something you might feel more as an adult than you will as a kid, is the feeling of knowing, like, he went there, and after that he had this moment of relief. He was generally thinking, like, I finally get to rest for a bit now. Like, he thought he was done, and then he has to go back in and carry on with this. I have felt that feeling so many times what he's felt. This is the same feeling I get if I'm at work and I'm about to finish my shift, or like I'm done and I've got the next few days off, and then they ask me if I can stay in late or I can cover for tomorrow because someone's called out and either no one else can cover or no one else is willing to cover. And he is like, he's very reluctantly just like, I've got to go do this. And whenever people go to check on him, they're like, hey, are you okay? Like, he just gives them a look. Like, he's not responding anything, he's not even going to answer that question, because if he does, then it's all his emotions are going to come out. But it's, when that happened, I was like, I get you. I get you on a more personal level, and I get where, like, your character might go, because as someone who's, like, as useful he is, I feel like he's underappreciated in the organisation, in the Hero Association. Like, obviously, you know, like, everything he's done there before, like, I suppose in comparison to people like Metal Knight, like, who are loose cannons but have done, like, a lot of building for them, Child Emperor, who is, like, who might not be smart of him, but is definitely more reliable than Metal Knight, like, gets underappreciated by these people. And, like, that's kind of, like, his whole thing. So, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future with Child Emperor, we get to see these moments of, like the aftermath is, like, especially why the aftermath of the Monster Association is going to be interesting, like, whether he ends up, like, taking a break from the Hero Association, because we know stuff like this in any case, like, obviously he's got to work on Brave Giant, but at the same time, so he can, like, recuperate to himself, or he gets some kind of holiday or something, or even if he left the Hero Association at some point, because he's not living his life as a child, because we saw that in the last chapter as well. He isn't, like, he's concerned, because he's like, you know, he never gets to spend time as a child because he's too busy cleaning up the messes of the adults, you know, he's not getting to live his childhood. And it's like these moments like that, and like even when all the other people came like together, all the other heroes on above ground team came, and were like, oh, we'll help you, yeah. They were like, he's like, no, you guys stay up here, I'm going to go do this. And it's not that they were bad and they meant well, because I told, when Needlestar said every life is equal, I believed it. And I know they've all got like lofty aspirations of becoming S-classes, but that kind of did two things. It kind of put some of the A-classes in perspective, like the real difference between an A-class hero and an S-class hero, because there is a big gap between them unless you're like the top ones. And they're very impressive, the A's and B's that got together, A, B's and C's that got together, but at the same time, like, an S-class hero is just someone in a different speed. Like, he gets, like, there's a job, like, no matter how tired he is, he gets there's a job that needs doing, and only he can do it because no one else can or will. And that's kind of what really makes me love Child Emperor at this point. I love his dedication, at the very least, to being a hero, and I respect that. And this isn't me trying to be like, I'm like Child Emperor, but as someone who's been in that situation before, I couldn't say it to him, obviously, because he's fictional, but I'm like, mate, I respect you. He's going through stuff that kids shouldn't have to go through, and that's very incredible to me. But then, of course, like Child Emperor, he has no weapons, and that's what's even more incredible. He's going down because he knows this kid needs saving. So, then we get to, I suppose, the real thing that everyone's been waiting for. Atomic Samurai versus BS. Because I think, if we call him the other word, I'm not going to get monetized, although I don't get monetized in any case. So, we start off pretty much where we left off last time with Atomic Samurai and Black Sperm coming together. And, no, not like that, not like that! Like having their face off. I've got to be very careful with phrasing from now on when I talk about Black Sperm. I really do like Black Sperm on a base level, and this fight I think was done very well. In the sense of it, like, maybe I should go through the fight. So obviously Atomic Samurai is like, you know, oh, I'll take you down, no issue. And this is one of the strengths, like, I mean, like, the real strengths of One Punch Man is the designs of things. Because, like, it really honed, like, two things for me. Like, yeah, I guess, like, obviously how good Murata's art is and stuff. And, like, I talk about that a lot because it's fantastic. But just the idea that this, yes, we know, obviously, from designs, like, you know, like, if you draw something like that, you're going to be pretty damn strong. Because of Saitama and Tatsumaki, two of the strongest characters in the series. One of them is the strongest in the series. Like, they are drawn very simply a lot of the time. And they are just... whenever they're drawn serious, they look really cool because they're heroes. And even, like, from Black Sperm's attitude, I feel like he's like the evil Saitama. And I know, I did think about the Tatsumaki stuff, but I feel like there are some comparisons between him and Saitama, mostly in their attitude and, like, I suppose how, like, their personalities and stuff. Because I say that mostly because, obviously, after Atomic Samurai is like, you know, I'm the kind-hearted but noble, like, experienced Atomic Samurai, here and ready to go, and then afterwards, Black Sperm's like, oh, here and ready to go, I mean, and then, like, he messes up his lines, like, similar to how Saitama forgets names, Black Sperm also forgets names too, and, like, that's the kind of connection I put between the two of them. But like I said, like, this is the first example of, I guess, like, Black Sperm getting serious. This is like, when Saitama shows his serious face, it looks really cool. When Black Sperm shows his serious face, it's scary. It's genuinely, like, the scariest thing, I think, the scariest drawing in One Punch Man. Because, like, I get, like, it's the comparison between, like, you know, very simple to very, like, this is a monster, you know, stupid monster to cool monster, you know? A monster that can do both we haven't really seen before. I guess there have been monsters who look ridiculous but are incredibly powerful, but none of them have the intimidation that I think Black Sperm has. I think, obviously, from his design, it's built up to that, and of course, now we're in, I guess, Act 2 of it, we have an Orochi-shaped hole in our hearts, I'd say. Like, we're waiting to see who this big bad boss, who's going to be the next threat, because Orochi's gone. Orochi, there's no one, like, as far as we know, there was no one stronger than Orochi, and there still probably isn't someone stronger than Orochi in the Monster Association, but Black Sperm is there to fill that hole with everything he's got, and that face kind of sealed the deal for me of like, oh, this is a monster. Like, I thought it was fan art at first. I was like, oh wow, that's really good, but then when it turned out to be a Murata, I don't know why I thought it was fan art, mostly because I suppose I didn't think about Black Sperm in a serious mode. I always just thought of him like as a stupid little monster. But despite the fact I should have known, and I've always been thinking like he's going to be really strong. So obviously, I've also been trying to figure out what Black Sperm's abilities were, because Black Sperm, like, with a lot of them, like, even, like, you can guess from their names kind of what they can do, or, like, from their designs what they can do. Black Sperm has given away, like, nothing about his design, or, like, his name. Like, I didn't have a clue. And then we get to it, and, like, he starts off by turning into this really giant, detailed arm, and Atomic Samurai dispatches it no problem. And something I do love about this fight as well is no matter how, like, intimidating Black Sperm was, I never felt like Atomic Samurai got treated poorly. I felt like Atomic Samurai responded to everything how he should have, and like, you know, he didn't get treated like a chump. Neither of these two seem like chumps from this first. Like, and obviously the fight has just begun, but still. It was just incredible. So he transforms, and Atomic Samurai slices him up, no problem, because he's like, oh, so you're a growth type. And then this is where Atomic Samurai goes into it, and this is like, you know, his older age is shown, but in a good way. He's like, I fought tons of monsters before, like giant-shaped ones, like shape-shifting ones, giant monsters, you know, self-duplicating monsters, everything like that. You're the most annoying, and like, he calls him the most annoying type, but he's still like, I can take you down. He's still very confident in himself, and I don't think that confidence is like, it's not like the confidence that comes from like youth. like overconfidence. It's the confidence that comes from experience of meeting countless monsters and taking them on. Because I don't believe, like, throughout reading this chapter, that Atomic Samurai went all out at any point. I know you see Atomic Slash, but he didn't seem like he was struggling. Even at the very end, he seemed kind of like he wasn't like, oh no, what's going on? But as the chapter goes on, we do see what Black Sperm's abilities are. Like, he can shapeshift, I guess, but at the same time, he can basically multiply himself an infinite number of times. And he goes on to say, like, you know, oh, I am one of, like, an infinite number of Black Sperms. And does this mean that there's, like, a Black Sperm Prime? Because otherwise, how would you take down someone like this? Unless you're Saitama, like, how would you take down someone like this unless there's, like, maybe, like, in a zombie outbreak kind of thing, like, you take down the original and then all the others will crawl from there, you know, you take down Black Sperm Zero, and then maybe the others will get taken down from there. But I thought this was very good, because, like, the moment he's like, you're looking down on me, aren't you? And of course that face is terrifying, but even after that, like, he got drawn a lot more detail. He's like just him, like, his face is very scary at this point, and, like, the simplicity really works for it. And you know, Atomic Samurai was very impressive. Like I said, this chapter 2, he was constantly slicing up, but no matter how much he did, like, Black Sperm was just too much, like, for him. Like, there's so many of them, to the end where, like, they are all that are surrounding him, and he's like, you're gonna die. But like I said, I don't think, like, Atomic Samurai got treated poorly, and I don't think Atomic Samurai is going all out because of this. And I think this could end in one of two ways, this fight, and I think the more likely one is Black Sperm will beat Atomic Samurai. But like I said, if there is, like, a prime Black Sperm, an original Black Sperm, and you have to defeat him, maybe Atomic Samurai will beat Black Sperm here, but then Black Sperm will show up in another fight, because we do have, I'm fairly sure there's more S-Class heroes than there are, executives. There are, of course there are, yeah. But yes, overall, like I said, I'm very impressed with this chapter. It made me really like Atomic Samurai, and it really made me like Black Sperm too. And I meant Child Emperor too. Of course, Child Emperor is fantastic. It's really good, and I think, like, it's, like, to me this is the proper way to go. Like, the second act is starting of this arc, and I'm excited to see what goes on. And I'd like to know, like, I guess what everyone else is up to, but this is in the middle of a fight, so I wouldn't say the ending was fully satisfying, but I also accepted it because I'm like, this isn't the end of the fight, Matt. You're gonna get something soon. It's gonna pick up straight after. But yes, and I'm, like I said, I'm very interested in Black Sperm, because, like, I still don't think this is everything he's doing, because he's only just started. But also from what you guys are saying, no one's spoiling what he can do, and I'm very grateful to that. But a lot of people are like, you haven't seen anything of Black Sperm yet, and I'm very interested to see what he can do as this kind of simple monster, and I hope he becomes scarier. And, like, I thought he was pretty scary at first, but I hope he just becomes a scarier monster. Yeah. Okay, that's all I've got to say. What did you think of this chapter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think about the Child Emperor stuff and Wagama stuff? What did you think about Black Sperm and Atomic Samurai? Different opinions, same opinions, let me know. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the video, and goodbye.